Welcome to the channel, welcome to Banter in the Box, part 4 of our annual Meet the Managers series, the fourth and final part. In this week's edition of Banter in the Box, we've got a quote of the week. Banter was quiet last week, but I got sent a quote this week that was worthy of sharing. And we're meeting the title contenders. We've met the no-hopers, the also-rans, the dark horses. This week, we meet the top 6 rated managers in the Family Fantasy Football League that would suggest that if things go to form, they will be the 6 people contesting the Family Fantasy Football League title come May. A couple of controversial ones in there, I have to admit. And a manager of the season update. Did anyone get last week's question right? So, quote of the week. There is, I've got a life manager, Mops Hoxby, pictured with Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos. And Mops Hoxby sent me this message this week, or copied me into the message this week. Hey Alexi, you know good things happen in threes. Go for it? ? Well, some of you, I appreciate, won't get the reference there, but I know Alexi will get the reference, and I get the reference, and it made me laugh. That's one manager of the season point to Mops Hoxby. Ranked 6th in the list of the 28 managers taking part in the 29th season in the Family Fantasy Football League is none other than the Mad Hatter, manager of the Creed Bratton Society. The Mad Hatter is at the front of that picture, for those of you wondering. 6 previous seasons in the Family Fantasy Football League. The Mad Hatter is becoming something of a veteran. As far as honours go, he was the runner-up in the league in 2019. He's won the Cup in 2019 and 2020. He got the Golden Boot in 2019. He also got the most weekly wins in 2019. In the 6 seasons he's been in the competition, he's had 5 Manager of the Month awards, and he holds an FFFL record for the most goals scored in a season, 134 back in 2019. 2019 was definitely the Mad Hatter's year. And he's the only person in the history of the FFFL to retain the Family Fantasy Football League Cup. Nobody has ever achieved that feat. The Mad Hatter achieved it back in 2020. But 6 seasons now, Mad Hatter, still no Family Fantasy Football League title. However, he is Mr. Consistency, always up there in the shake-up, and that is why he's ranked the 6th best manager in the league. Ranked number 5, James Holmes. Team name, haven't jot a clue. He was called better than the Diamonds in his debut season, but last season he wasn't better than the Diamonds, so he's changed his team name to Haven't Jot a Clue, which is a bit more appropriate for his 10th place finish last season. 2 previous seasons in the Family Fantasy Football League, and over those 2 seasons, no honours to speak of. He has picked up 1 Manager of the Month award, and it's questionable whether he should be ranked as high as 5th in the Family Fantasy Football League, but he's never finished outside the top 10, and his debut season did finish in 3rd place. Hopefully that's not going to prove to be a 1-season wonder scenario. There have been a few of them in Family Fantasy Football League history, but James still considered one of 2 young guns who have joined the Family Fantasy Football League recently that are ready to challenge some of the veterans in the Family Fantasy Football League. Ranked the 4th best manager in the Family Fantasy Football League. Well, he will argue he should be the number 1 rated manager. He's not. It's Neil Hatch, manager of the Ontario Grizzlies. Now, for his entire time in the Family Fantasy Football League, he's been known as Hatch United. He's changed his team name this season. He sent me this message. Good morning, Chairman. I would like to inform you that Canadian billionaire David Thompson has just purchased Hatch United for an estimated $2.3 million. It's not a lot of money. He is looking to keep manager Neil Hatch in his position. Well, that's good news. And hopes that he continues to bring success to the club. The one change that he does want to make is the name. So no longer will they be called Hatch United. They will now be known as Ontario Grizzlies. Obviously, because Neil Hatch resides in Ontario, Canada. 23 previous seasons in the Family Fantasy Football League, and the roll of honours is impressive. 5 Family Fantasy Football League titles in 1998, 2005, 2018, 2022 and 2023. That's 3 titles in the last 6 seasons. That is impressive, unrivalled. He was the FFFL runner-up in 2001 and 2003. He won the Cup in 2022. Went very close to doing the... Oh no, he did do the double that season. What am I talking about? League and Cup double in 2022. He was the Cup runner-up in 2005. As far as minor honours go, well, the list is long. Golden Boot winner. 4 consecutive seasons in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. He got the Golden Boot in 2018 and in 2022. He had the most weekly wins in 2003, 2005 and 2022. He got the highest weekly total in 2015, 2021 and 2022. And he's had 10 Manager of the Month awards, the second highest. FFFL records, well, Neil is the only manager to win 5 Family Fantasy Football League titles. He has the most Golden Boot awards of anyone with 6. He's won the joint most Family Fantasy Football League trophies, 5 league titles and 1 FFFL Cup. And he scored the highest ever points total back in 2022. That was his year when he scored 2,301 points. That has never been bettered. This season he's looking to become the only manager in history to win 3 consecutive Family Fantasy Football League titles. He is a true legend of the Family Fantasy Football League. Why is he ranked as low as 4? Well, with all of that success over the course of those 23 seasons, he has had some howlers. And truth be told, were it not for the now banned benefit fraudster tactical gambit, he was in danger of registering the worst ever title defence in history. But with a tactical transfer masterstroke at the midpoint last season, he went from 17th to top. And whilst people were sceptical about whether he would hold on to top spot with such a low budget, he proved everyone wrong and retained his title. He is a master. And, well, if he keeps it up, it's only a matter of time before he's crowned the number 1 rated manager in the Family Fantasy Football League, which I'm sure he craves because he's never held a number 1 ranking, but then very, very few managers have. He's also one of only 3 managers to retain the Family Fantasy Football League title, an honour he shares with Mark Benwell and Wayne Robinson. Ranked the 3rd best manager in the Family Fantasy Football League, it is Alexi Lagos, pictured at the back of that photo. Greece Lightning manager. 11 previous seasons in the Family Fantasy Football League, and as far as major honours go, well, he won the title in 2014 and 2021. He was the runner-up in the league in 2015. He was a cup runner-up in 2021. Went very close to doing the league and cup double. Minor honours, a Golden Boot winner on 3 occasions, 2016, 2021 and last season. He scored the most weekly wins in 2016 and 2021. 2021 was his year. He scored the highest weekly total in 2014, and he's had 6 Manager of the Month awards. FFFL records, he holds the record for the most weekly wins in a season, a massive 9 weekly wins in 2021. That really was his year. A controversial entry here, the second best manager in the Family Fantasy Football League, Niall Ponsford, manager of the Big Boss Tekoklas, certainly wins the award for the most easy for me to say, the most imaginative team names without being rude, which is to his credit. One previous season in the Family Fantasy Football League, but it was an impressive season. He finished runner-up last year in his debut season. It was the first time in 20 seasons that a debut manager had finished in the top 2 in their debut season. First time that had happened since Wayne Robinson won the title in his debut season 20 years ago. I have to mention that because Wayne gets very upset if I don't. No Manager of the Month awards in his debut season, and there is a chance that Niall will make me look stupid and not do anything this season and turn out to be a one-season wonder. But runner-up in his first season, and as I mentioned earlier, but for those now banned benefit frauds to tactical gambits, he would have won the league in his debut season. I've got a feeling that Niall is one of those, a bit like Mr. Holmes, he's one of those young kids on the block who's looking to upset the old guard. I think Niall is here to stay. Time will tell. And the number 1 rated manager in the Family Fantasy Football League. He's now been the number 1 rated manager for 20 years. It is Steve Holmes, manager of Arden Diamonds. This guy is always the man to beat. He lives, eats and breathes the Family Fantasy Football League. There isn't a day goes by where he's not poring over the stats. 23 previous seasons in the Family Fantasy Football League, and the list of honours is long. He's a 4 times Family Fantasy Football League champion, 2003, 2008, 2011 and 2020. Runner-up in the league in 2002, 2016 and 2021. He was a cup winner in 2007 and 2013. And a cup runner-up in 2008. He was a whisker away from doing the league and cup double. As far as minor honours go, a Golden Boot winner in 2007, 2011 and 2013. He was the Silver Boot winner in 2021. He had the most weekly wins in 2008, 2011, 2012, and it's not on there, but 2015, and he had a share last season in 2023. He scored the highest weekly total in... that's right, highest weekly total in 2012 and 2018. That 2023 highest weekly total should be on most weekly wins. He didn't get the highest weekly total last year, Keith did. And he's had 13 Manager of the Month awards. FFFL records, 13 Manager of the Month awards is more than anybody else. And he has the most top 4 finishes in FFFL history. 14 occasions in 23 seasons. Steve has finished in the top 4. And he's always there and thereabouts in the shake-up come the end of the season. He's Mr. Consistency. And that is why he has been rated the number 1 ranked manager in the Family Fantasy Football League for the last 20 years. 4 years now since he last won the league. Well, 3 years, but it'll be 4 years come the end of the season since he last won the league title. It's about time he retained it, and he'll be desperate to equal that record now held by Neil Hatch of 5 league titles. Manager of the season question. In the 29-year history of the FFL, what is the lowest points total ever recorded at the end of the season? Now, I've got a horrible feeling that 4 people had a guess at this week. But if 4 people did have a guess, then I've lost one. So the person that had a guess, so I don't call out, will let me know. But But the three people that I have got that had a guess, Benny United manager Mark Benwell thought the answer was 303. 303 was the lowest ever points total recorded by a manager at the end of the season. Hatch United manager Neil Hatch thought the answer was slightly higher. Well, quite a lot higher. 434. Well, I can tell you both that you're way off. It's much, much lower than that. Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby thought the answer was as low as 15 points. Well, believe it or not, Meg, because I know you submitted your answer and then you thought, oh no, I've gone way wrong. Well, actually, you get the manager of the season point, Meg, because you were the closest. You weren't right, but you were the closest and you weren't far off. The lowest ever points total recorded at the end of the season, and I doubt this will ever be beaten, was a previous Family Fantasy Football League manager called Darren Smith, who in 2012 finished the season on just 7 points. Put that into context. The winner that year was another previous Family Fantasy Football League manager called Ian Sands. He won the title with 1,058 points that year. But Darren Smith finished bottom of the table with just 7 points, and that's a Family Fantasy Football League record that will probably never be beaten. One manager of the season point for Megan Hoxby for getting closest. So your manager of the season table looks like this. Megan Hoxby climbs to joint 14th with her first manager of the season point. Mops Hoxby climbs clear second for getting a point for getting the quote of the week. But it's still Benny United out in front. His lead has been cut to just 1 point. Your chance to earn manager of the season points this week. It's another manager of the season question. And the question is this. What is the lowest ever points total scored while still winning the Family Fantasy Football League title? What is the lowest ever points total scored while still winning the Family Fantasy Football League title? So it's another nearest the pin question. How many points secured the title that was the lowest ever points total scored whilst still winning the title? Have your guess. Remember, one guess per manager per week. The manager that gets closest will get that manager of the season point. Next week, we will have the draw for the Family Fantasy Football League Cup group stage. Look out for that. There are now less than 2 weeks to get your teams in before the deadline of 9 p.m. on Thursday the 10th of August. Only 10 managers have submitted their valid teams. 18 managers are still waiting. I have no idea why. You can change your team as often as you want up until that deadline of 9 p.m. on Thursday the 10th of August. If you submit your team late and it turns out to be invalid, or you just miss the deadline, well, if you miss the deadline at all, you will end up with the allocated club and instantly have no hope of winning any prize money this season. If you submit a team and it turns out to be invalid and you leave it too late for me to have time to check it, then your team will be made valid as detailed in the rules, and that will seriously hamper your chances of challenging for prize money this season. So get a valid team in as soon as possible. That is it for this week. That completes our annual Meet the Managers series. You now all know your enemy. Keep the banter coming in. No support for Mark Benwell on the Family Fantasy Facebook group following the post I did, the segment I did in last week's edition of Banter in the Box. If you haven't seen it, go and have a look. Mark's very sad that no one's supporting him. Save Mark. Don't let Donna win. We have to get Mark retired. And Mark sent me a message which I didn't think was worthy of a manager or a season point, but it did kind of make me smile. He sent me a message this week to say, bear with me a second, to say, I know it's here somewhere. Can I not find it? Can I be bothered to look for it? It wasn't that great a message. Why can't I find it? Oh well, he sent me a message, but I can't find it. It was something along the lines of keep the banter, keep the Save Mark campaign going, because Donna has said that if he does retire, she'll divorce him. Anyway, that's it. Until next week, take care, everyone. Bye bye.